Hi, and welcome to this week's Three Legs, Four Wheels F1 podcast. It's Paul here with
Sean,
Chris,
and Kieran.
Have we all woken up yet from the thriller minute that was Japan?
oh, it was dull, wasn't it? Bless it.
I mean, yeah.
This is genuinely a comeback.
What happened?
Well,
The cars are too big.
I feel
That
like
is an
Japan
argument.
isn't normally a dull race. Not necessarily. There have been dull Japans, but I feel like it is a track that has delivered in recent years, but not this week.
I mean, it's
Didn't they rely too heavily on DRS and the two DRS zones? They missed out by only having one DRS zone because it used to be like one to
Maybe,
catch,
yeah.
one to pass.
Mm.
But yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it was the first race not at Monaco where the top six finished exactly as they started. Thank you, Sean.
Oh wow.
I mean, that was the main Sean stat that we got broadcasted at us during the race.
Least interesting race outside of Monaco.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's still a lovely track, Suzuka, and you send a lot of different racing formulas there, and I'm sure they'll be able to overtake. But there was no DRS that really was beneficial. Much as Jack Doohan tried to extend the DRS zone, that didn't work. So
It works.
Yeah,
it works in the sim. Is now the new excuse for everything.
Well, no, that is It is actually quite an interesting point that he makes because he was actually turfed out for FP1, wasn't he, for Rio Hirakawa?
Not Rio Haryanto.
No, not Rio Haryanto. Rio Hirakawa, who drove the Alpine and then at the weekend announced, "I'm leaving Alpine and joining Haas." So it was really nice of him. So what they probably should have done really is actually got rid of Gasly for FP1 because Gasly is the more experienced driver. Doohan probably needs as much time on track as possible, but they decided to turf Doohan out for Hirakawa, and then that would be something that he probably would have had in his debrief or even his installation lap during FP1, but because he didn't get that and he just went straight out in FP2 and then biffed it straight into the wall, he didn't have the luxury. He had to go out and do a run straight away.
Yeah.
So it worked. Like his argument of, well, it worked in the sim is completely valid because that's the only experience he had up to that point.
Yeah. Yeah. You do your first proper lap and then you're in the wall, then yeah, that's exactly it.
He did actually do a flyer before that, but he didn't have the DRS. He closed the DRS manually. So I think he was pushing his luck with it on the second one, which is when he wiped out.
Yeah.
It was so violent, I thought, there's no way that's driver error. It was only later on when they were like, "Oh, you forgot to close the DRS." I'm like, "Are you kidding?"
Yeah. Yeah, because he didn't dip a wheel on anything. It was he was turning in. Very
It was
normal.
really quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think they were for hours afterwards. They were still talking about like, oh, did something break? Was there a suspension failure or something like that?
Did anyone see the slow-mo from the rear from looking back at the DRS? That makes sense.
No,
Yes.
I don't think so.
Quite entertaining because the slow-mo shows the DRS is still open when he turns and then he loses control, then the DRS closes. And just as he hits the wall, the rear wing says BWT on it, but on the underside it says Alpine. And as he hits the wall, the Alpine bit flips up and it comes towards the camera at a diagonal angle in such slow motion that it looks like something out of Deadpool, where an explosion has happened and like a limb has flown towards the camera.
But it has the right piece of advertising on it.
Amazing.
Oh, yeah. I will, if I can find it, I'll track it down and put it into the group. It's entertaining.
I'll share that on the socials. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, one of the F1 game content creators tried to do exactly the same thing on that corner with identical results. So it would appear that the F1 game is more accurate than the Alpine sim.
Oh, it feels on brand actually. That for Alpine.
I mean the sims that the team use, they're mainly very similar to actually the game R Factor 2. They're built on the same technology and the same engine, just very, very, very enhanced. So that, because obviously you wouldn't be able to buy a full F1 sim for £12 on Steam when it's on sale. But it would appear that was the most exciting part of the weekend.
I think the other thing we learnt from Virtual Statman was that it started raining about like an hour after the race. He was social mediaing about that, which was not helpful because that probably would have spiced it up a bit.
Yeah,
had it been a little bit earlier.
Yeah. I'd say qualifying was quite interesting. It was certainly a bolt from the blue that Max Verstappen got pole, given that their Red Bull's pace was absolutely nowhere until qualifying.
Surprisingly, been hell out of the rest of the team as well.
I think that's what made the race such a letdown, though. You thought, oh, maybe it's a slightly mixed up grid. There's going to be this battle between McLaren and Verstappen, and it just didn't.
Yeah. Shall we go team by team, or shall we just slag off Lance Stroll for about another 10 minutes?
Let's see if we can remember something about each team.
Right, so it's Sauber first. They had green cars, I remember that.
Pass.
Next. Pass? No, nobody did. That was the problem.
I am honestly struggling to tell you anything about their race. I seem to remember there was a disappointed Hulkenberg radio message. I cannot remember why. That's the best I can offer.
Yeah, we didn't see anything from Bortoletto. I mean, Bortoletto, I said on the last podcast, I think he's probably going to be something special. I don't think he got a chance to show it in this race.
I don't think anyone did.
But much quicker than Stroll.
Yes.
Yes, there is that.
Walking would have been much quicker than Stroll. Yeah, now you can really say it. Right, Alpine next then. Doing
repeat.
Got his excitement out of the way in FP2.
Pierre Good race though.
Yeah, he and Gasly were, I think, closer than people might have expected them to be.
Yeah, Pierre Gasly was also at the circuit this weekend. Anybody? Anything at all?
Did he finish? He got briefly out. He got undercut. Yeah, I guess undercut from Doohan.
Yes.
And then they swapped, and then Doohan fell off his pace.
Yeah,
by about 15 seconds or so.
And then, just when they thought it was over, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Aston Martin, Alonso in 11th. And I think Lance Stroll is due to finish any time now, and it's Monday night.
I think he was, I think, the only driver that was lapped, wasn't he?
He was. He did pit twice.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, because he did not look after his tyres at all. He came in after, 10 laps?
Something like that. He was the first driver to stop.
I mean, him and Doohan were the only two that started on softs, which we thought was going to.
Doohan went a lot further though.
But we thought that was going to be carnage in the making.
Well, yes.
Two at the back on softs, possibly able to get a quick getaway. We could be seeing somebody going bowling here, and it's that form of bowls that pensioners play.
And they did nothing on them either. I think they both picked up one place. And I think it was someone who'd started on hards, possibly.
Yes.
And that was it.
Yeah, Stroll got ahead of Bortoletto. Then Bortoletto passed him when he pitted. And from that point on, Lance Stroll was last. And only got lastier.
Yes.
He just tapped out. Because when he came out of the pit lane, he was something like 22 seconds behind Bortoletto.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Up the road.
With Bortoletto still to make a pit stop at that point.
Yeah.
And you go in, okay, here we go. How far is this the old Lance Stroll? I haven't started on hards. I've started on something mad though. Let's see how far I can one stop this into the system. He loses time to Bortoletto and then goes, guess I'll pit again. What?
It was like he was just having a nice little Sunday drive around Japan, sort of see the sights.
Yeah. But, he is the breadwinner down at Aston Martin, let's not forget.
The bloody roller coaster.
The only thing he's winning.
The roller coaster was quicker than he was.
I mean, Alonso, 3 races into a season, still pointless.
But he has finished a Grand Prix now.
At last.
Yes.
11th
for Alonso, Stroll in 20th.
Yeah, baby steps for Fernando.
Well. Yes. At age 109.
So 10 years ago was the infamous GP2 engine comment at Suzuka in a Honda-powered car. Can you imagine going back 10 years and being like, so in 10 years' time, Fernando Alonso is still in Formula One and still hasn't won any races yet.
And is about to get a Honda engine back next season.
It's a brave marketing move from Honda.
I think about that sometimes. Not that specifically. I mean, I was 10 years old when Fernando Alonso stepped into that Minardi, and my entire known life has happened since then. I was going to say I can't remember a time when Fernando Alonso wasn't in F1. I clearly remember a couple of times when Fernando Alonso wasn't in F1. But it's mad to think he's still there. And I know he was extremely young when he started, but it's like saying about Hulkenberg. Hulkenberg, if you'd said to me at the start of 2020 during the pandemic, that guy, 3 years' time, he's going to have a 3-year contract with the manufacturer team. What? Hulkenberg? The Nico Hulkenberg, not someone with the same name, Nico Hulkenberg. How many podiums did he get in that time? Well.
Somebody else has bounced around a bit. Haas. Ocon in 18th. That was deeply unimpressive from him.
Nothing. A participation golden award.
Yeah, for Esteban Ocon. Yeah, I would agree. Just like, I mean, well done for not hitting anyone in lap 1, turn 1 and 2. But I mean, also, like, why? Somebody help.
And
I like Esteban Ocon. I do. I actually think he's a really good driver who's never had the chance to be in like a really quick car. He was at one point touted to be in the Mercedes, but obviously he never got there. Was shipped out to Alpine, and now he's a Haas. So I don't know. He appears to be difficult to work with, doesn't he? But for everybody.
Well, I was going to say
kind of funny.
Congratulations to him for not taking his teammate out with Behrman finishing 10th.
Yeah, because he was nowhere near him.
That doesn't usually stop him.
The closest you were seen to Ocon taking out Behrman was be on an onboard. If he turned around and 20 seconds later you see a graphic coming up going, wrong way, wrong way.
Yeah, Behrman made sure that Ocon was nowhere near him purely on Saturday, didn't he? His qualifying was superb.
Yeah.
And another point for Ollie Behrman and for Haas, which, given what their car looks like this year, that's pretty good going because they might not get a lot of opportunity to get more points this year.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
if he qualifies like that on a regular basis, then, you know.
If Sauber keep being dog shit, Alpine continues to be a Hoover, and Aston Martin don't fire Stroll and get a real driver in, then there's a damn good chance that Haas will look into a lot of points because just by dint of not being as shit as everyone else.
Yeah. There is that. Yeah.
I think we're in this strange situation where I think I said at the start of the season, or Chris, I think you may have said it, that there's only 10 points paying positions and the top 4 are clear. So your 3 points remaining of a weekend, of a normal non-sprint weekend, and on sprint weekends generally, are going to have to be hard fought over. So when Haas have got, what have they got, 14 points? Something like that?
That'd be about right.
Yeah.
That is valuable. That is really valuable in a season like this. Of course, what we've since learned is that
15
points.
Yeah.
What we've since learned in all that is that maybe the second Red Bull seat might not always be in the points, regardless of who's driving it. And Antonelli might finish the odd 9th every now and again, despite how good he was this weekend. So there are points on offer, but they're rare. And you know, Sauber picking up 6 at the start of the season looked like quite a big win. But there's only one team now beneath them, and they're pointless, and that's Alpine. So, you know, things will come, things will go.
If they're pointless, does that make them Alexander Alpine?
And ladies and gentlemen, that's why the episode this week is called Alexander Alpine. Very good.
Sorry, it was.
Here's my pointless friend. It's Pierre Gasly.
He sat there with French accent going, hello. And then every so often, because they can't afford Pierre Gasly anymore, a bit like Richard Osman, you have to have wacky ones in like Paul Aron and Franco Colapinto.
When they get really desperate, Taki Inui.
Yeah, super desperate. Second mention of the podcast for Rio Haryanto, anyone? The man most famous in my mind for when Ted did his testing notebook back in, what year was it, 2016 he was in? He used to interview the new drivers, the rookies, one by one, and ask them the same questions like favourite food, favourite music and all that. And he said something like, you go up to a girl, what's the first thing you say? And most normal people, the Gaslys, the Landos of the world, would say something probably slightly sly and weird and slimy, but not too irregular. Whereas Rio Haryanto just instantly came back with, how old are you? It takes a lot to leave Ted speechless.
I don't know. I mean, that time in his one mega successful season when he stuck it on the gravel, we at least got the line. His name is Rio, and he's landed on the sand.
Yeah.
We talked about him more than we did during his entire F1 career tonight.
And several teams tonight, I imagine.
Shall we?
Did he get driver of the day at a race where he retired?
I think did they have to like change the formula for driver of the day because of him? Because there was like 2 addresses in Indonesia just spamming it constantly or some shit like that.
Yeah, I think they had to put security on it. It was like they had to make it 1 vote per IP address.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I think he won it by something like 250% against the next driver. And he finished 19th.
I don't think he even finished. I think he was out of the race. I was like, yeah, Rio Haryanto, driver of the day.
Right, Williams next. And with this, we get our first wanker nomination of the week.
Oh.
Which is going to the FIA.
Okay.
Is this for fining Alex Albon?
No, for fining Carlos Sainz for not turning up for the anthem, even though he was in with the doctor at the time.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's because he felt unwell.
So he was given medication and a note from the doctor.
Doctor's note.
Which is why the fine was only €20,000 with 10,000 of that suspended instead of the normal 60,000 for missing the anthem.
Jesus.
It should be €0,000.
Yeah, if it's a medical reason.
Yeah.
Jesus.
You know,
that's kind of like finding him for missing Saudi Arabia last year.
Yes.
Yeah, you weren't at the anthem. I was in hospital. Okay, 10,000. Meet you halfway.
But yeah, he was at the official F1 medical centre being given something for a stomach upset. So didn't turn up on time to the anthem, got there before the end of it, but apparently that was too disrespectful.
What would the fine have been if he hadn't gone to the medical centre for the thing for the stomach upset and had turned up for the anthem and just shat on the grid?
During the Japanese national anthem.
How respectful would that moment have been?
Well,
halfway through the Japanese national anthem,
just a torrent of shit on the grid.
Well, the only other noise you can hear.
Yeah.
Didn't President Bush do something similar to a Japanese ambassador once?
Oh, God, probably.
Oh, God. All the drivers just looking around going... dripping.
I mean, they were talking about the grippy side of the grid and the greasy side of the grid. Maybe that would have evened things out a bit.
That's what...
after the national anthem.
That's why they put the carpet down.
Just in
God,
case.
that's funny.
See, we are laughing at what the outcome could have been, but it's a serious question. Like, what would the fine have been for disrespecting the anthem by shooting yourself instead?
Oh,
We found something good about this race.
I think I've gone red.
But also, the other Williams driver got fined for swearing over team radio.
He did say
Excessively.
shit twice.
Said,
I
but
think he
didn't
might have dropped
do.
an F-bomb as well at one point, but it was the FIA bleep machine was, from what I can understand, we didn't hear a lot of team radio, but from what I understand, the FIA bleep machine was being used for Alex Albon.
Quite a bit.
We did see one on TV, didn't we? It was like, was it it's shit now and it was shit before or something like that?
Yeah. Yeah, Albon wasn't really too keen on the Williams strategy.
I don't think he was keen on anything, was he? He was just in a bit of a mood.
Yeah.
Yeah, which, considering he's normally one of the far and away calmest drivers on the grid, he must have been seriously pissed off.
Yeah. I sort of don't blame him wanting to express it. I mean, I don't blame him at all. I think when he comes back and watches the race back, he'll go, "Oh, okay, it was, yeah." Okay,
Actually, we did quite a good job there, getting 2 points.
Yeah.
This is the problem with the heat of the moment, though. You've got to allow people to express themselves, because if you, there's a sports psychology thing, or there's a general psychology thing of, if you don't express yourself one way, you'll express yourself in a way where actions are louder than words, and this is a sport where maybe words should be louder than actions, actually.
Yeah, you know, drop something on your foot like a fairly heavy audio interface, and you don't go, "Oh, blinking flip," and then kick the crap out of a door.
Fiddle-dee-dee.
Yeah. Not
That
that I
will
know.
require a tetanus shot.
Yeah, not that I'm saying I did that, but my toe's still hurting from last week when I did that. But yeah, you know, for Albon to come out of whatever it was that was shit at the beginning and then shit 10 laps in with ninth place, well, it could have been a hell of a lot worse.
Yeah, it's a decent day at the
You
office.
could have shot yourself during the national anthem.
There's always that.
Right, RB. Rookie Liam Lawson making his third debut for RB and his fourth debut appearance in F1.
Does he have more RB debuts or equivalent of RB debuts than Daniel Kvyat?
They're on 3 apiece.
Oh, excellent.
Are they on 3?
Yeah.
Oh, no, Kvyat's on 4 because he went away and came back.
That's yes, but I suppose
Yeah, because
In the different car. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
No, it was, yeah.
yeah, so Lawson, yeah, the rookie Lawson in his third season is 1 RB debut down on Danny Kvyat's.
At the moment.
At the moment, correct.
After 14 races.
Correct at time of going to press. So, over a third of Lawson's F1 appearances have been debuts.
Nearly.
Nearly a third, sorry.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. 'Cause, yeah, of course, that will have been his fourth debut overall. So yes, yeah, nearly a third of his 14 races have been debuts.
Yes, that's it. That works. I mean, so shall we reignite the categories again from last week? This might be the team we talk about the most.
There's a damn good chance. So yeah, last week's categories. I'm going to have to find them now. That involves a lot of scrolling. We don't have share a lot of crap on our chat thread. Still scrolling. Talking about
Search the word matrix.
Are we living in the Matrix?
Oh, yes, I was gonna say, Matrix is a very nerdy word to have called this.
Also, he's not on the show anymore.
Yeah, I was going to say, we couldn't have done this if Lee was in the group. 1 of 400 results.
Right. Yuki does well, Liam does well. Don't think that's the
No.
case.
No.
Yuki does well, Liam does badly.
No.
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 Yuki does badly, Liam does well.
No.
Verging on that, but not enough to definitively say yes,
Yeah.
that's what happened.
That's the closest so far.
Yuki does badly, Liam does badly.
That one, but
It's
that
in
doesn't
between,
retell the
isn't
whole
it?
story.
Yeah, it's sort of
No.
in between
Yuki
those last
Yuki
two.
did average, Liam did a little bit better, possibly.
Yeah, and Yuki, I don't think was particularly bad. He just stuffed qualifying.
Yeah,
up, and
he
qualifying
under-delivered.
turned out was completely important. If this was one of your if this was one of your tracks where overtaking was a much stronger possibility, maybe a Bahrain or a Las Vegas, maybe, then Yuki may well have made his way up the grid a bit further. But qualifying was much more important than we expected.
And you could probably say that about Lawson as well.
True.
Yeah. But I feel vindicated in a sense. Lawson, you put him in the RB, he doesn't qualify last.
Yeah.
Finally, it didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, he had a better qualifying showing, and you can't really judge anything on that race because it was too much of a parade.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
And the overtaking opportunities weren't there. In the other side of the RB garage, there are so many jokes we can get out of this one.
With the belt.
Isack Hadjar,
Yes.
Isack Hadjar.
Red Bulls.
Yep.
His cherries were blossoming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, considering that there were, from what we could tell, chafing, twisting and trapping elements going on while he was driving the car.
Yeah.
The shot back at him in the helmet as the bloke was trying to rearrange it. Between Q1 and Q2.
Gents, I don't know if we've been there where somebody, or even yourself, has accidentally glancingly got you in that particular region and they didn't mean to, or you obviously didn't mean to. And then it's just a case of like, I think I'm okay. No, wait, I'm really not. And the pain just creeps and it creeps and it creeps.
I mean,
so I do feel sorry for him. Because you've got to be comfortable.
I have seen a similar expression on the podcat's face when the vet takes its temperature.
Oh, yes.
Is everything well in
There's that moment, like either getting kicked in the balls or getting them trapped or them slipping or something, where you just go, oh no, I'm okay, I'm fine, I'm all right. It's a horrible feeling. So I mean, for a young man who's trying to do 200 mile an hour in a race car, it must be absolutely terrifying to feel that pain and then being told, but you have to perform to your absolute highest. So no, we can't do anything. I think he said, didn't he, even at the end of the weekend, like, it's crazy to think that might have ruined my entire weekend.
Might have ruined his entire family.
What sound effect for this? Hadjar, Isack, is everything okay in the car?
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. Ow.
It doesn't work.
I've got Bruno sat next to me. That just made him look around, and I'm wearing headphones. But a spectacular performance nonetheless. I mean, that's that is his second points finish in a row.
He's doing really
well.
well.
Oh no, sorry,
he's doing really well.
Yeah.
Congratulations on your Red Bull drive, Isack Hadjar.
Oh well, they did ask him that, didn't they? Yeah,
they did.
Yeah, so you're clearly like now next in line, and that's where that thing came. And so, well, I wouldn't refuse a call if it came, but I don't think it's coming anytime soon.
No. It's just that everywhere seemed to pick on the I wouldn't refuse a call if it came.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, forgive me if I'm being slightly facetious here, but I mean, if Ferrari called me and was just like, "Hey, Chris, do you want a new Ferrari out of the showroom?" Well, I'm not going to refuse the call if it comes. But let's be honest, that call isn't coming, is it?
Yeah. I mean, it was the headline came out that inflammatory. It was, quote, fracking.
Yeah, well,
that took a second to land.
It did.
But yeah, I mean, if he keeps this up, he's got a good future, and I hope it's with a different racing organisation.
At some point, well, what did I said something stupid like in 2027 that car will be Hadjar and Lindblad, didn't I?
Yeah.
still
It
don't
could
think
be.
that's out of the question.
No.
I think if oh god, I don't want to play what happens with Max card again, but Hadjar could be a good option if they do lose Max, because apart from the big boo-boo at Australia, he qualified well.
Mm-hmm.
He's been best of the rest, both qualifyings, and then yesterday in the race he was best of the rest. Obviously, it was Ocon the other time. He has potential, and we saw that in F2, but so many people who've had potential in F2 can really, really sink, and so many who you think are sort of just fine end up doing really well. Everyone, I think, was probably quite pleasantly surprised by Franco Colapinto, who I think if you said to me, name one driver who's off to GT next season, Colapinto could have been one of those drivers. So there are surprises out there.
Yeah, for every Lando or George or Oscar or Albon, there are at least 50 Mick Schumachers.
Yeah, it's a good example.
But actually, I think all the ones that have come up from F2 last year seem to be performing really well so far.
Which doesn't fill me with a lot of hope for what's going to be coming up next, because F1 has now got all the best F2 drivers and the rest of the... Yeah.
I think it might be an off year for F2. This is one of these years where you end up with champion Nicholas Latifi.
Well, we've got Fornaroli and Mini and all that, but they still seem to be leaning towards Victor Martins being the favourite.
Oh, Victor Martins is absolutely a Nicholas Latifi, isn't he?
Well, yeah, he's just signed with Williams, hasn't he?
Oh, that's very true, yes.
Yeah, good point.
Don't forget, came second in the Race of Champions.
Yeah, because his teammate was good.
Who's the teammate?
Oh, was it Sebastian Ogier?
Yes, it was.
Oh, Ogier.
Sorry.
The sounds of a cat shredding a box, by the way, in the background.
Yeah, we're not in for a vintage year of F2 drivers, but maybe that's not such a bad thing, given if you are in a team in 2025, they probably would want to keep you for 2026, given the development is going to be so different that you kind of want someone who's bedded into the team.
Yeah, because coming into a new team in the first year of new regulations doesn't always seem to work particularly well.
But this is maybe what makes the whole scene at Toro Rosso.
Alpha, no, wait. No. Try again. Nearly there.
Team Faenza.
No, they're moving to Milton
I
Keynes.
was going to say they're not that Italian anymore, are they?
Oh God! New businesses come into the local area. I'm all against it. Yeah, Team formerly Faenza, now Team A5. They're in a pickle next year, because if we keep the status quo and Max stays at Red Bull next year, if Tsunoda does a good enough job and stays there, and you hold on to Hadjar, what do you do with Liam Lawson? Because
Worst sea shanty ever.
what do we do with Liam Lawson? What do we do with the Liam? Early in the season, you suck him, you. I think you've got a problem with Liam Lawson, because what's the point in holding on to him if he's probably never go up into the senior team, given Tsunoda will have done a good enough job and Hadjar has so far outperformed him? At that point, you may as well roll the dice and stick Lindblad in that team.
Have we not had this conversation about Tsunoda over the last year, though, and how he was never going to get his chance in the big team?
Yeah, that's another tricky.
The thing is, I always wanted him to get the drive in the big team, because I wanted him to prove he could do it. Like, I was kind of cheering him on for Yuki. I was like, yeah, go on, Yuki, do well. But then I found myself also being like, but Red Bull are dicks because they don't treat their drivers well. So I kind of hope you don't do well. This is weird.
Yeah.
No, he could be another one on the list for Cadillac. You never know.
I always thought he was going to replace Stroll at Aston Martin because of the Honda tie-up, but it just seems less and less likely now.
Well,
I don't know. He might do.
I mean,
we'll see how he gets on this year.
The last statement Honda said about Yuki was, we backed him for years, but maybe it's time for him to go his own way. Oh, and by the way, Helmut, here's $20 million for the rest of the season. Give Yuki the big boy seat.
So was it? I don't know if I heard this somewhere else. That initially Honda said at the start of the season, if you put Tsunoda in and not Lawson, we'll give you $10 million or something like that. And Red Bull said, no, we're still going to go for Lawson. Then they turned around to Honda and said, we're going to stick Tsunoda in. How about that money? And they went, well, that deal's off. And they still stuck Tsunoda in.
Oh, I've not heard that one. No.
I heard that on a different, less reputable podcast. Why not?
Less
Probably more
reputable than us.
Less reputable.
Wasn't a GP fans Facebook post, was it, or something?
Yeah, it was. I read it on some toilet graffiti. Yeah, on arcade. Yeah.
I mean, I haven't heard anything officially denied, which is always the truth. But yeah, just RB. We do this every year. What's the point of this team? And it always seems to come out more when they do a driver switch. And we've had it before with, well, that's Gasly's career finished. Oh, Kvyat's done. Yeah, Brendan Hartley's not coming back. He'll never race in F1 again. We were right about that one.
Yeah.
But he took his experience somewhere else. Yeah. And
I mean, Danny Rick sort of got given a second wind. His career was over after McLaren ditched him, but yeah.
But yeah, it's it's that question again. What is the point of RB?
They seem to have been on a big signing mission this year, so they've got lots of drivers in like National F4 series. They've got a few doing Ginetta Juniors, so they've sort of seemed to have gone on a restocking of the meat grinder. But these are drivers that are going to be 3-4 years minimum.
So they bought a lot of veal, basically.
Yes,
Yeah,
one
what
of which
I said
I'm
last week,
assuming is a child of one of the Coronel brothers, because that's the surname.
Okay. It's like I said last week. Like they are running out of meat to grind.
Yes.
Like they've got like Lindblad, and they're like, that's it. And Lindblad doesn't have enough points for F1 yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, same as
They'll
Pepe
soon be
Marti and Ollie Goethe and the rest of them.
If they're not careful, they're heading towards chlorinated chicken.
Yeah.
Didn't they play on the introducing stage at Glastonbury this year?
They did, yes. I was in London this weekend to see. I went to a Q&A with Matt Berninger of the National.
Of course. Just to repeat the joke that I cracked on Saturday. It was obviously the day of the year when every radio station plays something by the National because it's current. Because it was Grand National Day.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it's a good point, actually. I didn't think about that, because people in front of us in the queue waiting to go in were watching the Grand National. That's pertinent. That's good. But no, the thing I was going to say was that we were at a pub beforehand who were advertising a gig that night for the band Meat Bags.
Oh.
Almost intrigued to hear what Meat Bags were like. Alas, we went to the mopey Midwest American Q&A. A Q&A entirely around an album which doesn't come out for 7 fucking weeks. And their whole thing made no sense. We were sat there going, they're saying, so on the track, nothing special. It starts with this really rambling thing which leads up to build-up chorus. What do you think of that? Well, none of us have heard it. So,
I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to do this thing now. So like when TV shows do that like reminisce thing, and it's like a harp music, and the screen goes wobbly.
Yes.
I don't have a harp, so please bear with me and imagine it. That's it. Thank you, Kieran. That'll do. That'll do. So I was going to make stupid noises with my mouth, but thanks. It's 2028. the podcast is still going, and Kieran is talking about meat bags. Remember that podcast where I said I could have seen meat bags live? Now look at them. They're the biggest band in the world selling out arenas.
I was going to say, if you want to know what meat bags sound like, just listen to Hadjar's in-car radio.
Ooh.
Hey, Hadjar's meat bags. And his tail now.
Right, let's do Ferrari. Right, Hamilton's car showed the world. This is so hard to say about how accurate Jacques Villeneuve can be when he's trying to shut Crofty up.
Oh, God almighty. I'd forgotten about that.
I know Jacques was a negative Nelly, but it was actually I thought he had some very interesting points, especially in qualifying.
I actually did quite enjoy Jacques purely for the kind of the shushing of Crofty on a repeated basis.
Go on, Jacques, take us through the lap. Okay.
Said nothing.
Or don't.
Yeah, they had no sort of natural
said,
rapport,
"Was
and it
watching."
was delightful.
Yes. Those are two people who should never have been put in the same room together.
Yeah. You know, Crofty walked into. Yeah, you know, Crofty walked to the office afterwards and just went, no, stop, never again.
Yeah, just bring back Paul de Resta, please. For the love of God, give me the dull scotch, man.
Or Jacques' next race will be one of the Harry Benjamin races.
Yes, or that. Yeah. I don't know. It's like shooting a kitten, putting Harry Benjamin with Jacques Villeneuve. Well, hasn't it been a wonderful day, Jacques? Well, no, it hasn't, Harry. It's been fucking awful, actually. How dare you?
But the point is, Crofty was going on about Hamilton's car looking so stable and so steady, and Villeneuve shot him down with a, have you seen the rear end? It's all over the place. It's sideways. He's losing time. It's not balanced. It's not stable. I think he stopped just short of, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it was.
But the implication was definitely there.
Yeah, it was good. It was good commentary actually from Jacques, and he was right when he came to Ferrari as well, because I said last week's podcast that Ferrari were planning to bring a new floor to Japan, and an idiot.
Oh, Chris's internet's on the fritz again.
Not just me, right?
Hang on. Are we all still here?
Nope, I think.
Oh,
Ooh.
we got a syllable.
It may have been a Dalek. Right, I haven't got notes for this one. I didn't write this one down in advance. But
It's 9:30 every week that we lose Chris, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is this the hour that his neighbour starts downloading OnlyFans content?
You could have said anything, but we've gone with OnlyFans.
Yes.
So yeah, Ferrari were going to bring a new floor. I mean, obviously they didn't have the problems of last time with the car running light or the skid blocks running out or the excuses not being fit for purpose or whatever it is with Ferrari from week to week. Hamilton hasn't found his way around that car yet.
No.
Oh,
Oh, hello.
a flood is here.
I was always here. I could hear everything that was going on.
We were not hearing you.
Yeah.
If you want to carry on your thought.
No, it's just that they didn't bring the new floor, but Lewis has said that they know what the problem is and they're going to fix it at the next race. So I looked into this, and apparently they are making upgrades for Bahrain, but not necessarily the entire floor.
Ah.
We're going to do bolt a kilo weight onto it just to be on the safe side.
It's the what is essentially the barge boards and suspension apparently, or something like that that they need to change slightly.
No.
But yeah, Lewis is not comfortable in that car, and Charles, even though he finished fourth, my God, he was pissy this weekend.
It's borderline participation award, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, there was nothing he could do about the ones in front of him. He had a decent gap to the cars behind him, but it was a bit,
Yeah.
it was a bit meh. Did Lewis take get the Overtake of the Day award? Because I don't think I remember.
Because he did one.
Because he did one on Hadjar. I don't remember him mentioning sort of vote for Overtake of the Day because we only saw the one.
I think they do vote. They do Overtake of the Month, don't they? Rather than the day.
Well,
Yes.
I mean, if they'd have carried on racing there for a month, that would have probably still been the only Overtake.
Thank God that wasn't the only race in the month, is what I would say.
Triple headers, we love you. Right, Mercedes. Antonelli, youngest driver to lead a race in his debut season and youngest driver to get a fastest lap, but now will not be the youngest driver to win a race.
Yes.
no. Well, yes. Yes to the...
Well, he can't be the youngest driver to win a race because by Sunday he will be older than Max was when he took the youngest driver to win a race.
Yeah.
And Chris has dropped out again, but he can probably still hear us. Antonelli seems to be pretty good. I wasn't convinced.
I thought he would have taken longer to settle, and while he's not necessarily matching George, particularly in qualifying, he seems very solid in the race itself.
Yeah,
Which, is a pleasant surprise.
yeah, he's showing decent race pace. He's working out. Yeah, it's working out pretty well for him at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the car
He's doing exactly what he should be doing.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, the car seems an improvement on last year as well. And they've got two drivers that can drive it because when the car was good last year, it either seemed to go one way or the other. It was either good for George or good for Lewis, except for Belgium when it was illegal for George.
Yes.
It was good for both drivers, but for different reasons.
But yeah, they seem to be getting more out of it. And like I say, a top team putting a rookie in, it's like this doesn't often work. Remember K-Mag at McLaren?
Yes.
Podium in his first race.
And then what happened after that?
Yeah.
Perez at McLaren, not a rookie, but still fairly young. I think he'd only had, was it his second season in F1 he went to McLaren, or was it his third?
Possibly his
Yeah,
third.
but he was Ron Dennis. Don't forget that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
After Ron stole him from Ferrari, because I only found out recently he was on the Ferrari junior
He
program
was when
for
he
a
was
bit
at
as well.
Sauber.
I
But
mean,
yeah,
Kovalainen, I dare say, put into that pile as well, because whilst there were better options out there, they went with a young guy who was impressive in F3000 GP2, whatever it was at the time, but didn't really show up much in his first season in a midland Renault. They still went with him, and it was widely the wrong decision, probably.
well, didn't he come with the Kimi seal of approval?
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah.
How many
How wrong he
words are
was.
going to be involved in the Kimi seal of approval, though? What do you think of this guy, Kimi? Yeah, it's okay.
Him, not bad.
Hmm.
I mean, maybe he had something in his mouth when he said "whoa," and it sounded like Kovalainen. But yeah, I mean, a solid performance from both Antonelli and Russell. I think they did all they could because they couldn't overtake.
Yeah.
Mercedes, I would say, are the second best team at the moment. Second best car, second best team.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd definitely be inclined to agree with you then. On to what is the best team, and people saying they threw away a chance to win, but I don't know. I mean, a second and third for McLaren is good, but under the circumstances, could they have got a 1-3 instead of a 2-3?
They could have got a 1-2 if they played it correctly. I think they did throw it away, and they threw it away by being reactive to pit stops and not proactive with them. They should have decided that if Max was going to be leading and coming up to the pit stops, to split the strategies of the cars and decide there and then which one they were going to give the preferential treatment to. Because at least one of your cars you're likely to come out with a win for if you do that. wouldn't matter if it had been Norris or Piastri. I mean, okay, Norris was the leading McLaren, so he probably would have got that preferential treatment. But they should have split strategies. So one of them pitted earlier, and one of them stayed out for a lot longer than they planned, and split strategy that way. You probably would have got a 1-3, maybe a 1-2.
Congratulations, you've just agreed with Christian Horner.
Ooh.
Which is tough, but he's not wrong.
They're too scared to, I feel, because they don't want to piss off one of the drivers.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes you got to do that. You got to be like, sorry, but we had to give somebody the chance to win the race. And had you qualified, so you would have said to Oscar, had you qualified better on Saturday, then maybe you would have had the chance to win the race on Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for that reason, I am forwarding my nomination for McLaren for the Participation Award, because they didn't race, they just participated.
I don't know, Lando had a good job at racing out of the pit lane.
Cutting the grass. That was never going to work.
No.
And all the complaining on the radio.
Was posturing for the sake of it, wasn't it? No.
That was, are the stewards listening to this?
No, they've probably got better things to do with their time, or they've fallen asleep.
I would have said that there probably was room for them both to stay within the white line, but Max didn't. There was no obligation, was there, from Max to let Lando sort of sit next to him?
No, Max played that perfectly. And more importantly, seeing as they like giving fines out, legally.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we've all gone quiet again. I don't know if there's much more we can say about McLaren's performance, because there's not a lot we can say about the race in general, because it wasn't a race.
I mean, Oscar was posturing, wasn't he, in the latter part of the race? I think I can catch Max. He's like, mate, you can't even catch Lando.
It was his birthday, though. He was excited.
Yeah, and I understand that I would, if I were in third place and my teammate was in front of me, and I thought there was a shot, I'd be doing the same. Of course I would, especially if it was my birthday. Fucking hell, I got a race on my birthday. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
What a rubbish life I lead. I got to go to work on my birthday. Come on.
Zach, this year, can I have my birthday off? I can't. Fine.
Set Weber on him. And that just...
got a work trip to Japan.
I wanted to go to Alton Towers. Food.
Right, that leaves us with Red Bull. We'll start with Max. Blimey. I mean, from
the qualifying lap.
Yeah, from
stunning qualifying lap.
Q3,
it was good.
Yeah, from Q3 onwards. That was the all-dominant Max in the all-dominant car.
It was like watching 2023 all over again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people said, is that his best qualifying lap? Maybe. Yeah, I'm trying to think back to 2021, but yeah, probably.
Yeah, I mean, the general consensus from all of us that were in the Watch Party channel on Discord was like, where the hell did that come from?
Yeah. I was so not focused on Max getting pole, thinking that it was going to be Lando or Piastri, that when he did go quickest and Jay went, "Oh, you bastard," I went, "Wait, what? About what?" Oh, Max. Oh, bloody hell,
I think I exclaimed, "Holy shit!" But, yeah, same difference.
Yeah. Absolutely fantastic, and didn't put a foot wrong during the race. We often get accused of being a little bit anti-Max on here, but you can't say anything bad about him this week. And I have no desire to say anything bad about him this week.
I know. I have no ill will towards a good performance, nor really much ill will towards Max.
The organisation for which he races for, however.
I mean, again, arseholes. But no, Max is... I think we saw a lot of amazing things come from Lewis in those years, 2015, 2020 years, right? And he would pull out incredible laps, like the lap at Singapore in 2018, or the
that
lap
was the
at
thing that came to
Hungary
my mind. Yeah.
in the rain, when they said, "Oh, the Mercedes is no good in the rain," and he put on pole by 9/10. Those are incredible things. Max's style of driving, his attitude towards racing when he doesn't step over the edge, which he does sadly too often, I think probably puts him in the... And I hate these things because I don't like comparing between different cars, different teams, different situations. Max probably, for me, is the best driver of the 21st century. And that's taking into account the fact that he has had as dominant a car as Lewis did have at Mercedes, and he had as dominant a car as he did, as Michael did in his 5 championships at Ferrari. There's something about Max's style which is just breathtaking at times. And you could see how much that meant to him, the fact he could lug that tractor of a Red Bull around Suzuka and be on pole by 100th of a second and then win the race. That was the first time I looked at him and went, oh shit, maybe he won't retire, maybe he will hang around if this is how much it does mean to him.
Yeah, because he was genuine. That was genuine enthusiasm for everything to do with F1.
Yeah. One thing I will say is that performance this weekend by Max Verstappen, if we are going to compare with previous drivers and things that we've seen before, very much Ferrari era Alonso.
Yes. Getting a hell of a lot more out of the car than anyone thought possible, and basically did it on raw talent alone.
Yes.
Yeah, he's a great driver. There's no denying that. I mean, he does things maybe he doesn't necessarily have to do, but every great driver does, And Fernando Alonso had that Ferrari built around him. Max Verstappen has had that Red Bull very much built around him, and is able to pull performances out that really shouldn't happen. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Max is in the championship fight, even up to with a few races to go, purely just because of how he drives and what he can do in that car. He shouldn't be anywhere near it, but let's see how the season unfolds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really did think that it was going to be Lando and Oscar taking points off each other in these early rounds of the season. I didn't expect Max to be missing out on the lead in the championship by 1 point.
No, that has come as the biggest shock, especially when they mentioned it at the end.
We should probably point out the whole pit stop thing.
Yes, go ahead.
Oh God. What's my view on it again? So Lando drove onto the grass, it looks like. Despite the fact that, firstly, I mean, I'm sure we'll come to the TV direction in the wanker column in a bit.
Yeah.
But it did look like it was a bit of a Max chop over to Lando, but it wasn't really. No. It was just Lando thought, this is my best opportunity, because if he gets into his slipstream at turns 1 and 2, by 3 he's in dirty air, and by 5 he's 6/10 off. So he took his opportunity, but his opportunity ran out the second he hit the gas pedal, and he just drove onto the grass, it looks like. I mean, even if Max did just tiny bit turn to the right. But not enough
all that was brought about by the rarity of a slow Red Bull pit stop.
Yeah.
Because I think it was about 1.2 seconds Max lost in the pits on that stop, which gave Lando the chance to come out nearly level with him, but not quite.
Yeah, but then Lando went and lost 1.2 seconds driving
Twatting
on the grass.
On the grass.
Completely handed back. Yeah, exactly. So completely handed back to him. So
yeah. If
you're going to fight for a championship, you can't make mistakes like that. You've got to be more assertive. And for me, at the moment, I love McLaren. McLaren are not assertive enough. Lando Norris isn't aggressive enough at the moment.
And also, driving on the grass can be quite risky. Do you remember Ricciardo's debut for Renault, when he went over the grass off the grid in Australia, hit, I think it was a drain cover, or like a hose pipe cover or something like that, and destroyed the car.
All 800 metres of his Renault debut.
It's like, and he's done. Like, you don't know what's there.
But then we look at
or was it Vitaly Petrov testing how wet the curbs were?
Yes, also a good idea, isn't it? That yes,
very. And that leaves us with the other side of the Red Bull garage. How can we rate Tsunoda's weekend?
Decent.
Fine.
Looked good in practice.
Well, it looked good at the times when the grass wasn't catching fire.
Yes.
And then fucked up qualifying.
Well,
It just didn't happen at the right time for him, did it? I think.
Yeah.
No, I mean, how many fast laps has and I mean actual proper push fast laps has he done in that car up to that point? 2?
Probably.
That was his third push lap.
Yeah.
So on his third push lap, he got it a little bit wrong, and it meant that he didn't make it into the third part of qualifying. It had Red Bull held on to Liam Lawson, and Liam Lawson qualified where Yuki Tsunoda did, they'd have been like, he's safe for now.
Yeah. Would Liam Lawson have been able to qualify where Tsunoda did? That's going to be one of the ultimate unanswered questions.
Yeah.
Swap their places around. Yuki in the RB qualifies one place ahead of Lawson in the Red Bull, and they are both out in Q2. I mean, for me, that if they kept Liam Lawson was like, this race was he's got to perform this race. To me, he's safe if he does that in the Red Bull. So I think, for Yuki's first outing in the Red Bull, acceptable. Not brilliant, not wow, setting the world alight or anything, but that's an acceptable performance for your first time in a Red Bull. He probably gets another go next week.
I think that's what it says in his contract, isn't it?
He's got a contract.
Back of a chewing gum wrapper.
Okay.
I think we'll find out more about how Yuki can handle the Red Bull in Bahrain, because hopefully that's not going to be as paradey.
It's Bahrain. It can go one or two ways, really, can't it?
Yeah.
It usually is quite paradey.
Yeah, it can be.
But, yeah, well, I mean, maybe
At least an overtake.
Maybe they've stuck him in the car at boring races just to get him used to it, and then by my I'll forget it. Right, Rockstars and Wankers. Rockstars, Max.
Yes.
Yep.
Hadjar.
Yeah, agree with that. Yeah.
Yep.
Antonelli.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Kieran's suggestion
Oh,
of
yes.
Esteban Ocon for something that might not have been seen on TV.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so Doohan had trouble getting out of the car. He couldn't get out by himself. I'm chalking this up to something to do with Friday, but maybe not. But it's a bit of a concern. I think there's a conversation we had about the fact that he couldn't get out of the car, and that's a concern. Then he couldn't get out. A mechanic who came over tried to help him out and eventually sort of got him up, but then Ocon came up and gave him an additional hand, and by the time Doohan sort of got out the car but was sort of resting on the halo, he went in arm with Ocon and the mechanic to walk over to the weigh-in to get him to helmet and wade and all that. So yeah, Ocon saw that Doohan was in a bit of trouble and gave him a hand out, which was good to give him his seat.
Yeah, but yeah, Doohan took his seat, didn't he, at Alpine?
Yeah.
So, he that's sportsmanship from Esteban Ocon, and we do like to see it. So, yeah. Absolutely rock star for that. For the performance, though, he is in the wanker category.
Yes. Actually, though, it does raise the question about the extraction test that they're all meant to be able to do to prove they can get themselves out of the car if there is a crash.
Yeah,
Very good question.
Because if he has a crash in the race, Ocon, as nice as he is, probably isn't going to be there to help him out at that moment.
Yeah, and nobody wishes this on anybody at all whatsoever, obviously. But Romain Grosjean, look at what happened to him. He got out of that car pretty quickly.
Yeah.
If that was Jack Doohan at the weekend, maybe not so much.
Yeah, it's a bit of a concern, that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. We've not heard anything from Alpine about the state that he's in, and whether he's injured or not. And shall we start a rumour now saying, he's looking doubtful for Bahrain? Could see Colapinto in the car early.
What's the rumour at the minute that he's testing an old Alpine?
Yes.
One.
Yeah, they're using all
In the
the
barrel.
they're using all the testing of previous cars' time on Colapinto, which does seem a bit ominous.
Yes.
They didn't use it on Doohan, did they?
No, not as much. Other wankers, TV directors.
Yes.
Yeah, we're watching the fight for the lead, and then it's just like, ooh, what's Lance Stroll up to? Completely around the track
No one
by
cares.
himself in 20th place.
Well, as it turned out, fourth gear and nothing higher.
Reminiscent of Monaco 2021.
Yeah,
when
a little
comes out
bit.
pits, and he's up Eau Rouge with Gasly for the only overtake of the race, and they cut to Lance Stroll missing the swimming pool chicane. Replay of there.
Wanker, the weather for arriving too late and would have probably made race more interesting.
Yeah, way too late. The grass could have done with being a little bit damper.
There's that as well, yeah. But yeah.
The fantastic. I mean, I don't want to. Maybe the organisers here. Not. I was about to say the marshals. Absolutely not the marshals. the organisers for looking at the two fires on the Friday and going.
You
Let's
all right,
do
that?
nothing.
Let's
hope it doesn't happen again. That's our tactic.
Right, I didn't understand one of the firefighting techniques or fire prevention techniques that they were using. They were talking about putting upturned traffic cones on the grass.
What?
Like, what is that going to do?
That's just going to get you fire on a melted cone, that is.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll look better.
But yeah, I would have expected between Friday and Saturday just like a water bowser to be going about the place and soaking stuff.
But no.
Apparently not.
Obviously, I didn't see FP3 because it was 2 a.m. or something. But there was fire in FP3, wasn't there?
Yep.
Yeah.
There's fire in
So
quali
it
as well.
qualifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
FP2 was almost non-existent with all the red flags that they had.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they need to take a long, hard look at themselves
Yes.
and invest in some sprinklers, perhaps.
Well,
Yeah.
just a hose pipe would do it.
Yeah. Or, yes, okay, you've got the titanium skid blocks and you do need those to protect the underside of the car, but make them less sparky so less sparks come out because they only spark that much for entertainment purposes.
Yeah.
You know, they could actually have the skid blocks without the sparks.
But that would be rubbish.
And trackside fire isn't?
I mean, changing an entire sport because it didn't rain at a track for like a few weeks.
Yeah, I feel like the hose pipe solution is probably simpler.
Yeah,
I think so too.
Yeah, but it's Formula One. When do they go for the simpler solution?
Yeah.
Very good point.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've been watching for years.
Maybe Japan, as always, is slightly ahead of the time here in that they're going for fire as a way of imposing track limits. It's on fire; you can't drive over it.
Talking of
Yeah.
talking of Bernie and Formula One, he still has a hand in what Formula One is talking about, and allegedly there was a meeting to discuss the rules, engine regulations. And Bernie called Christian Horner. So Christian Horner went, this will be hilarious. I'm going to answer this on speakerphone. So whilst all the teams were having a meeting about the 2026 regulations, Christian answered the phone to Bernie Ecclestone. Bernie Ecclestone apparently said, look, what you need to do is bring back V10s. Sebastian Vettel ran his on sustainable fuel. Just go and do that. And that is now an actual conversation being had for the post-2026 rules, which next so will be 2030. Can they run V10s on sustainable fuel?
Also, I'm stunned by the fact that anyone's allowing Christian Horner to bring his phone into a meeting after what got found on it last year.
Allegedly.
This is all alleged. It could be absolute bollocks, but
No,
I don't think they were on there. No,
they were on his phone.
I don't think we saw
That
bollocks.
could be anyone's blurry finger. I've still got a file in my Dropbox which just is called the Old Horn Dog.
See, I know it's not Pierre Gasly's nipple, put it that way.
No. Mine's called Red Bull Gives You Way.
Oh, wow.
Right, participation award. I'm going McLaren because they participated rather than competed.
I'm going to go...
They did things, though.
Yeah, Ocon, I think, is a strong participant.
Yeah. Sauber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I take it back for Hulkenberg, maybe Bortoletto, because Hulkenberg did that fantastic slow motion.
Did he?
Yeah.
Did I see that?
Yeah,
I
I did
missed
see
that.
it. Yeah.
I'm
They
not
filmed Hulkenberg walking down the pit lane, didn't they? Being
Yeah.
a little bit annoyed at the race. And yeah, he did exactly that, but they played it in super slow-mo. So
I think we'd probably disappeared
So-
from McBreakfast at this point.
you saw Hulkenberg's lips flapping in slow-mo.
Wow.
That's also on Christian Horner's phone, by the way. Allegedly.
And I am going to say that Lance Stroll doesn't even deserve a participation award.
No, because I don't think he truly participated.
No.
He was in a
Down
category
the
of his
old
own.
anchor collar.
And the category of his own is Daddy's Special Soldier.
Yeah, he didn't
Well,
do
you
anything.
know,
He doesn't deserve anything.
On Top Gear, they had the old DB9 fridge for a while, didn't they, on the cool wall?
Hmm.
What's the opposite of that?
Was
Lance
it
Stroll?
Yeah.
Lance Stroll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it seriously uncool? Was that the bottom category on the cool wall?
Oh, yeah, seriously uncool, yeah. Lance Dole.
I think that about sums everything up for the weekend.
Oh, one thing.
so.
Should we go through our predictions to see how we did?
Oh,
Oh God, you noted them
yeah,
down,
I-
didn't you?
I think I was rubbish.
I don't sort of have high hopes here.
Here we go. So, the predictions for the weekend. Chris went for Lando, Piastri, Antonelli.
No.
No. Sean, Lando, Russell, Leclerc.
Absolutely useless.
Paul, Piastri, Lando, Russell.
God.
And I went for Lando, Russell, Max. Rubbish.
You're the only one that said Max, though, on the podium at all.
Yeah, I don't think that's a title victory.
I think it's the closest
Winner
anyone's coming
first.
to a victory.
I don't think so.
Is it time for me to press a button?
Yeah, go on then.
Why not?
Okay.
Is that Glock? Is that Glock going slowly? It is. That's Glock.
I still like the fact that I've managed to get that.
Well done. Good.
Right, this week's is from James Hackett, and he says, "Hi guys, best of luck with this one, which definitely isn't Glock."
Hello, James. Let's go.
I
And
know James from the Simpsons Put It in MGUH F1 meme group.
Okay. Good to know.
He years ago posted about the podcast on there, and I couldn't type quickly enough. I listened to that. I listened to that as well.
he's also a freelance drummer available for hire, I reckon. So get in touch with him through that Simpsons Put It in MGUH group. Right, are we ready?
Yes.
Yes.
I was born
Yay.
Yeah.
in 1981.
Okay.
Prior to F1, my greatest achievement was third in the 1999 Euro Cup Formula Renault, winning 3 races. They seem to be the only 3 races I've ever won in anything ever.
Oh, no.
Oh dear.
Tarso Marquez.
I think that's 3 more races than he won.
Yeah.
Yeah, plus I think Tarso Marquez is probably a bit older than that as well. But okay.
My only full season was with an Italian team. And this is where I'll need a guess.
Yes.
So the Italian teams are your Minardis, whereas where your Tarso Marquez comes back into it.
Yeah. Or Ferrari at that point.
Or yeah, well, yeah, good point. But full season with Ferrari if you've only won Euro Cup Formula Renault, was it?
Yeah, it's not going to be Ferrari.
It's not Massa, is it? So, yeah, it won't be a
Should we
Ferrari.
stick Tasso Marquez as a banker guess?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
I think he was in Formula One by then. Or was he later? No, yeah.
Yeah, sort of around that time.
Did you say as well the only season was with an Italian team?
I did.
Yeah.
Full season,
Only full season.
Only full season. Okay, next up. I scored 1 point that year, which was enough to beat a former champion.
I now would step away from Tasso Marquez because I thought he was predominantly crap and didn't get anything.
And also points would be top 6 back then. And don't forget that you had a lot of retirements.
Mazzacane, Marc Genet, going through my early 2000s. Yeah, okay.
Or Mazzacane, as Murray used to call him in the F1 game.
On the game, yes. Play it where it lies, Murray. Play it where it lies.
My first F1 race was my home race. I retired with an engine fault, while a future world champion won his first race.
So, sorry, can you say that again?
Yeah, my first F1 race was my home race. I retired with an engine fault, while a future world champion won his first race.
Oh. Who won? Whose first race win was the opening race win of the opening race of the season?
His first race win, though, when we're talking, it doesn't necessarily mean it was the race opener. If he's done, like, his only full season was with someone, he could have done, like, a guest stint somewhere.
So future world champions.
Yeah.
So Lewis Hamilton's first win, if we're going to be quite late in the 2000s, was Canada 2007.
Correct.
Fernando Alonso's was Hungary 2003.
Sounds about right.
Oh, that's good. Hungary 2003.
Yeah, that's probably where we're sitting, I think.
Yeah.
Baumgartner? So Baumgartner, was he Hungarian?
Zolt Baumgartner was Hungarian.
That's an interesting shout.
Yeah. And before Alonso, Michael Schumacher, obviously, but his first win was like 92, so let's forget that.
Jensen, his first win, Hungary.
Jensen was Hungary as well.
2006.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 2006.
Yeah.
And
Kimi?
Uh-oh.
It's not me, it's him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it'll come back.
He'll come back. He can still hear us.
Yeah. We'll have some quiet time in between. Should we pause Is That Glock for Chris's return?
Well, there is another clue, which Chris will get to hear.
Okay.
Many other drivers also won their first race at my home Grand Prix.
Yeah, this definitely feels like Hungary.
Yeah, because then you look at Button as well.
Mm-hmm.
I missed that clue. I didn't get all of it.
Right, many other drivers also won their first race at my home Grand Prix.
So the Hungarian Grand Prix.
It's feeling
Damon
very
Hill won
Hungarian.
In 93.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Damon Hill won in 93. Heikki Kovalainen won the Hungarian Grand Prix in 2008.
Mm-hmm. Ocon.
A lot of Ocon, yeah. A lot of drivers have won their first races at Hungary.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the only Hungarian driver I can name is Zolt Baumgartner, and I think he drove for Minardi in 2004.
Yeah, and I think he's the only Hungarian to have ever driven in Formula One, possibly.
Yeah, I can't name another.
Yeah, I'm struggling.
From ye olde F1.
You going with that as your second guess?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, move on to the rest of the clues. Apart from a couple of test driver roles in other series, I did fuck all else after my blistering F1 career was
feels
over.
about right, yeah.
Yeah, all right, I'll buy that.
There's no WEC for you, is there, my friend?
One of these test driver roles was for Tottenham Hotspur.
What?
They're well-known team.
God, was this a Super League? Was it called?
Yeah, Super League Formula.
Yeah.
Where some of the top clubs in Europe and Leeds sponsored cars.
Well, Chelsea sponsored Sauber for a little while, didn't they?
They did.
Yeah.
Circa the Perez era.
And according to Facebook, I am now a used car salesman.
Oh.
Did he find this out via Ricardo Rossette's Facebook?
I said don't bombard him with He keeps coming up as a friend, on like Facebook. And every time I go on Facebook, it's just like, people you may know.
It's how the
Ricardo
algorithm
Rossett.
works, isn't it? You've looked at
No,
him there
I know,
for
he
it,
looks
now
at
it's
his
like,
page.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to change your guess?
People you
Or
may
do
know.
you want to change your guess? Do you want to keep it going?
I couldn't tell you what Baumgartner is doing now, so whether he's selling stuff or not, I don't know.
I think it's more likely he's a used car salesman than a legacy racer, put it that
Yeah.
way. Are we looking at the right age, though? 81? 81 would be about 22, 23 when he drove.
Yeah, I suppose that's
So,
probably
yeah,
about
I
right.
reckon
Yeah.
that's probably about right, yeah. Yeah.
There is a spaffer if needed.
I don't think we need it, but it's always
Someone's
nice
taken
to
the
have,
effort
isn't
to
it?
write it, so...
Okay. Someone with the surname as me jumped to Earth from the stratosphere as part of the Red Bull Stratos project.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah, that was somebody else, Baumgartner.
Felix?
Yeah, Felix Baumgartner.
So, yes,
yeah,
I
that's
am
right.
not. I am not Glock. I am Zolt Baumgartner, the only,
Yes,
the only
well done,
ever
Kieran.
Hungarian F1 driver.
Oh.
He is the only Hungarian F1 driver. I
He
thought
is.
he was.
Yeah. Thanks for that one, James. And if you want to send in Is That Glock, drop us a line, 3legs4wheels@gmail.com, or if you're on our Discord, drop me a DM with it in, like a returning person who's got back in contact with us after a while did today, and I think his Is That Glock is going to be next week's. We have the return of one of Chris's favourite names, Santeri Unasti.
Oh.
Oh, yes.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
Santeri, thank you for sending me that one today, and we will do that one next week.
Thank you, Santeri. Looking forward to that.
Right, if you want to get in touch, like I say, 3legs4wheels@gmail.com, 3legs4wheels.com. If you want to do the prediction league, go to the games section. There's links there to all our socials, which are mostly at 3legs4wheels or 3legs4wheels.com on Blue Sky. And individually on the socials, we are...
At Sean Cowper.
I'm at Flood21.
At Kieran is boring.
And at Pablo100. If you want to help us out, you can go to patreon.com/3legs4wheels and sign up there for as little as $1, £1, €1 or equivalent per month. Gets you the show early, and we must record an extra Patreon show at some point.
Yes.
We could have done that tonight, except legal issues.
I was going to say, if we'd have recorded what we were talking about before we started recording this show tonight, we would have had our back end sued from here to Kingdom Come. The lawsuits would have still been going on after Stroll crossed the line last Sunday. No,
I think that's fair to say, yeah.
Right, we will be back next week. Obviously, there is the Bahrain Grand Prix this weekend, which we haven't done predictions for, but we'll tweet them out or something, or Discord them out or something, and we'll work out how bad exactly we are then. So, we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.